Hey to all those seeking vibrant health, it's Dr. Rachel Northern here, family wellness chiropractor right here in Johnsburg. And it is February in the office, so we are talking about Healthy Heart Month. It is American Heart Month. If you do not know this, that heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans. 1 out of 4 people die of heart disease, whether it be a heart attack, hypertension, stroke, all those things related to the heart. And it takes more lives than all cancers combined. So a lot of people don't realize that. We're going to go over some statistics, some things to help you maybe make sure you're not one of those risk factors. And since it's the #1 killer here. So let's go into that. And I got off my little cue. So there we go. So, first off, I always like to go back to the basics of health. Health is defined as physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, not just the absence of disease or infirmities. So everybody thinks about health, they think about sickness most of the time. They don't really think about promoting their health. And just like you want to make a room brighter, you want to increase the light in a room, you have to focus on bringing light, either striking a match or turning a light on. So focusing on light. You don't focus on darkness. So we focus on disease in our society, and we have more disease. So we need to focus on light. How do we feed health? How do we make ourselves better? So, you want to be the optimal state of being, focusing on how we can make our bodies better. And we need to focus more on that in our country. As that statistics, there's the CDC, that's just the age. This is how much obesity throughout our country. In the southern little chunks over here, that's where obesity and heart disease are the worst. The deep fried Oreos and deep fried Twinkies might play into that. The lifestyle, the foods, everything's in fat and lard, and maybe even their vegetables are fried. So that is definitely probably a cause of that in those more southern states. States and counties that are more active, doing more things, eat more fresh, those tend to be less problems with heart disease. So we do know this. We said it's the #1 killer of diseases. Over 800,000 people die of heart attack or stroke on annually. So it is pretty high up there with everything. And it is, our heart is like one of our most important things. Now, obviously, as a chiropractor, we're going to go on a slide about that. I think the nervous system's our #1 important thing, but the heart would be the second. So things I like to go over with patients, because it is a #1 cause of disease, is little subtle triggers that might say that you're having a problem with your heart. And, if you have any, obviously most people think about pain or discomfort in your chest. That goes into the left arm mostly, but sometimes it could go up to the jaw. It could come actually over to the right arm. I've had many patients that, had like a subluxated, a rib that's subluxated, and sometimes that will cause chest pain. But if they, I'll go through, hey, how are you breathing, other things to make sure that it's not their heart, because otherwise I say go straight to the ER, because I cannot, as a chiropractor, fix a heart attack. I can help you do things to try to prevent a heart attack and give you some lifestyle, advice and things we can do with that, but I cannot stop a heart attack. So that is something that you have to be paying attention to your body. The sooner you can get proper medical care, the better you are at survival on that. Unfortunately, the first sign of heart disease in most cases is a heart attack, and a lot of people don't survive that first symptom. So that's why I like to look at other things when I'm evaluating new patients, doing histories. Actually, patients coming in right now, we're doing surveys to talk about stress and other lifestyle factors that we're going to talk about here. So the second thing is also lightheadedness, nausea, vomiting. Sometimes, mostly females, they think they have indigestions. They might not have pain up here, but they have indigestion. That was actually, my grandma died of a heart attack, and she was having, when I saw her last, she was talking about she was having indigestion symptoms, and it turned out it was her heart actually. I already talked about the neck, the jaw pain referral, and the shoulders also. And then, like I said, checking if you can't breathe, you're having shortness of breath, you're struggling anyway. That's a really important sign. So any of those, if you're suspicious at all, go to the ER. Go right away. Do what you need to do. Okay. So right here, the heart pumps 2,000 gallons of blood through our body every day. So if you think about that gallon of milk, about times 2,000, like constantly moving through our body. It works hard. It's the hardest working muscle in our body. And so it's important that we support that. I talk about in chiropractic realm, the mid-back, particularly the nerves between your shoulder blades are the ones that help facilitate and control the heart. So sometimes I do have had patients that maybe have some history of some heart disease or palpitations and stuff, and I'll have a common thing where that nerve is being, interfered with a subluxation, and adjust them, and then make sure we take other, they have a cardiologist and different things in case there's other things going on in there. Mostly I check and see if it reoccurs. That's when telling me maybe there's something going on internally if it's not stabilizing. Most heart attacks occur on Mondays, which makes sense with relaxing over the weekend, or if you're a weekend warrior, getting up, and most people dread Mondays, so it just happens to correlate with that. So the physical heart, things that we can do to keep it healthy. This is on all the things. Don't smoke. I also have vaping on here. That's a newer thing, but we know that also influences the lung and the circulation. It's still nicotine that still is not good for our body. So avoiding that as much as you can. If you are unfortunately addicted to those substances, try to see if there's different avenues you can do to get rid of that thing or trade it out with a healthier habit. I've had patients say they've done like hypnosis and various other things to quit smoking. I actually had a patient the other day. I knew they quit vaping and they still had their little their little canister, and I was like, I thought you quit, and they were like, I did. It's just this is my psychological way to say, I'm not doing it anymore. It's just like, instead of I never feel it, it's just kind of like I still have that tactile thing. So it's just a dead stick. It's not doing anything, but for whatever reason that he's trading that out because he just doesn't want to do it, but he has to have something. It's kind of a subconscious thing that he still has to tie to that. So whatever way you can do, just not to do it, okay? I have people chew gum, different things. The second thing is making sure we eat a clean diet. So this month, the next couple months, we're going to talk about the low-carb Mediterranean diet. We've known that's the best heart health diet, and it's overall best healthy diet out there. So we'll talk about the things that are in that later on, and I'll be doing some videos on that in the future. Here is be active. So they say we should, for every 10 minutes, every hour we're awake, we should be active and moving at least 10 minutes of that hour. So people who are sitting at a desk, I'm trying to get them to set an alarm if they can, and get up and move every 10, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, or if they can't and they're in a project, set a timer to go off 10 minutes later whenever they can get a break, and try to make sure they're getting up and moving and keeping active. Time to go walk some stairs, do whatever they need to do. I do like those sit-stand desks as well. So say if they're sitting for like that hour, maybe have the timer go off and then stand for the next hour. Whatever you can do to keep yourself active and moving. And they say we should do at least a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise where you're kind of consistently moving your body 30 minutes straight to keep that heart healthy and the circulation good. It releases good anti-inflammatories, endorphins. There's tons of data on that. You cannot put exercise in a pill, unfortunately. So I got this chart I got from Lifestyle Matrix, is where I'm learning a lot of good health tips. And this is like 3% of the population do all the right things. So I'm sure most people watching this video aren't doing all the right things. I myself, I know, I like, my husband brought out a gluten-free chocolate cake this week, and so of course I'm having a little bit of that. So I don't always do all the good stuff all the time. So most people are in the middle category. Not everybody is doing like eating perfectly on their diet, exercising all the time, doesn't go out, don't drink alcohol, all those aspects. Yeah, that's a very small, slim population. It's very unrealistic to think that we can get there. But this other side is 38%. That's the part that's obese, that they're not doing pretty much anything really healthy at all. They're doing all the things that are wrong, eating all the bad stuff, not moving, et cetera, et cetera. So most of us are in between. We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We might exercise a little bit. We try to get our vegetables in a couple times a week. We try to get maybe adequate sleep. Most of us are a little hodgepodge of what we're doing. It's close as if we could get better habits, the better we are going to be with overall health. So, like this is a little cartoon about, somebody talking. He's like, I want to find a bold and innovative way to do everything exactly the same way it's been done for 25 years. It's kind of that definition of insanity. You expect different results, but you keep just doing the same thing over and expecting different results. It's not going to do that. You have to change. There's no innovative way to do the same. You have to think outside your box. You have to step out and do things a little differently. And a lot of people don't like change. Most people don't like change. We like our routines. But to add our routines, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and change it up, I have done some videos in the past about hacks for like exercise hacks or diet hacks too on eating. So maybe look back on my YouTube and see if you can find those videos. Here it talks about, most people, we want to look better and feel better. We want to lose weight. We want to improve our biomarkers, which biomarkers is like you want to decrease your cholesterol. You want to decrease your sugar levels. You want to have, better weight, all those kind of markers, things we can measure, or our body fat percentage. We want to address our food. We have food problems, certain foods we know we can't eat, greasy foods, or certain foods we can't do. We want to sleep better. That's a common thing that people complain about in our office, that they either can't fall asleep or can't stay asleep or don't, or awake only can get so many hours in. So, and then, having a better relationship with food, that's most of us is like emotional eating or, eating for, the comfort foods. They only like certain foods, and maybe people use food to celebrate. So, why is change so hard? So the main thing is, for one thing, for improving your diet, we need to have you need to be complacent and you have to be consistent. You have to understand what you should do and do it consistently. And do you know what to do? So that's what a lot of people think they know what to do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of data out there. And, every year we have a new fad diet, and that lasts for a year or two, and then everybody's on to the next thing. I've been in practice 20 years, and I can't even tell you how many diets we've gone through, from South Beach to Atkinson's to keto. The main thing is decrease the sugar. The low-carb Mediterranean diet is the one that's been tried and true. So, do you even know what that is? We can talk about that, research that. What habits can you do to lead into consistency? So, for example, for me, I know I'll buy broccoli, and I might buy carrots. I like to buy, try to buy the organic, the best we can. And if I don't cut it up right away, it will rot in the bottom of the drawer, and it will end up going to my chickens. So it doesn't happen. It's just not a thing for me. I just have a trouble cutting vegetables up. It should be so simple. So I buy organic veggie trays. It's already pre-cut, or the bags that are already pre-cut. Yes, I'll pay extra, but still I'm not throwing it away or throwing it to my chickens. There's really expensive chicken food then. So I'm actually doing that. So buying stuff that I already know is pre-cut, I'm going to be more likely to eat that. And then also if I even go the next step and bag it up, to take bags, then it's easier to get it to work or travel with. So I'm making sure to do those kind of things. That's how my little quick hack is to help me eat better. So my primary goal with that is, build those, progress those habits, change them. You got to repeatedly, we're going to fall off the horse. That's the main thing, is to keep getting back up. Keep trying again. Just like riding a bike, you don't just get on there and pedal away right away. You have to get up and you stumble, and you get up and you stumble, and then eventually you get better and better and better, and then you're doing really good and gliding down. There's a good book about creating healthy habits. It's called Atomic Habits, and he talks about all areas of our life, finance-wise, different things of how psychologically to help yourself build atomic habits, like tiny habits. You start small and progress from there, which is a funny thing. I read that book actually last year this time, and one habit I've picked up on is reading 10 minutes a day. So of like a business book or a professional development book or anything. And now it's a year in, and now it's like I won't let myself off the hook. Maybe once in a great while I'll let myself off the hook, but I can't go to bed without making sure I do that 10 minutes a day. Most of the time I've gotten into the habit is, as soon as I get in my car, I have a 11-minute commute to get to my house. When I get in my house, my drive home from work every day when I'm working is I put my Audible book and I listen to 10 minutes of a book. So, and if I have a really good part, then I want to sit in the car for an extra 5 minutes to make sure to get to the end of the chapter. So it gets me even more. So I've built this habit I've now burned through at least 1 or 2 books a month this last year, just doing that little tiny habit of it's that 10, 11 minutes drive home. So it doesn't have to be hard. It just you have to figure out how to put it into your thing, and then just keep doing it and keep consistency with it. So, let's see this one. Okay, another thing about the healthy heart. So focus on, if you really need it, the research says this area right here, the hip to waist ratio, if that's bigger, that's going to say you're more likely having some issues with heart disease. There's a correlation with that in a lot of the charts. Right now we're doing BMI and fat percentage. We're using the instrument that helps measure the body fat through the conductivity, and I like that better. It's a little bit more accurate data. I really don't like the BMI charts, because even right now I've only had we've had a week of patients that have done this, and I'm finding 50% I disagree, that it says they're overweight or whatever. Muscle weighs more than fat, so if you're way off on your BMI, if you're really off, then you probably need to lose some weight and do some things. But if you're kind of borderline, then I wouldn't worry about it. I more try to see if you can get somewhere where you can get that body fat percentage, or look at the hip to waist ratios. Right here, best for the heart. So this is part of that low carb Mediterranean diet. What's really good is fish, cold water fish particularly, omega-3s, flaxseed oil, nuts, walnuts, almonds, seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. You want to get some healthy, whole, real food, and those things. Green leafy vegetables are super important. That helps your liver process your fats, helps you detox. So green leafy on a daily basis. Garlic's also good for your vascular system. We have the olive oil, avocado oil, and then your rich antioxidants, your berries. Some would say, wine in moderation. They say 1 glass of red wine will help that. You have to choose and see if that works. Red wine doesn't work for me because I have that migraine trigger with that. So that's not one I would go to, but I try to make sure I get my berries. Every day I try to have a handful of berries every day. So that's one of my little habits that I try to get to. So food is medicine. The more you get these good, natural, whole food things in your body, the better your body's going to work and function. And if you can do organic, that's even more better. I make up my own things, but all right, this is the chart of kind of what the low carb Mediterranean diet is. This is kind of how I always try to do my plate. I always try to have half my plate vegetables. green, try to mix it up with a rainbow. We talk about different colors. I like to get like the mixed salads with the spinach and the purple lettuce, and so I get a little bit more variety on that. We should have your adequate size of protein. I was just having a discussion earlier this week about how much he started tracking his protein and realized how he has more carbs than protein, and that he has more than adequate carbs, but not adequate protein. And that's too when I start doing food diaries with patients, and majority of people do not get enough protein in. Protein is really important. So making sure you're getting protein, or if the protein you're getting is more red meat, which we know is not the greatest all the time. We want to go with other proteins that are healthier. You want to do more of the fish if you can. If you don't like fish, then find like other things that are rich in your omega-3 if you can. And the lentils too are really good. Starches are your refined, a little bit your rices, and you want to go even more complex than brown rice. So, but again, that's a little small portion of it. And then I tell people we want twice as much vegetables than you want fruit. Fruit should be kind of your snack. That should be more. You should try to aim for that 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, but it should be the majority of it. It's the vegetable, not the fruit. Most people also flip that over, and they go, oh yeah, I can eat all my fruit, and they only have a couple vegetables. So, and then like we were talking about the healthy fats too as well. So one thing I read too is that, for years and years they poo-pooed egg yolks, saying that increased cholesterol. And actually they say what increases cholesterol is actually trans fats, bad fats, and sugar, refined carbs. So your junk food and all that, that's what actually makes cholesterol go up. So it's not the egg yolks. Whole egg is actually good for you. So that's one little debunk I want to talk about, and it's actually encouraged in what I would recommend in your diet. Not like go crazy on them. We're not doing Rocky and downing all these eggs, but at least a little bit of eggs are good. So this is a little exercise. I'm live right now, but I'd say if you're watching this video and you can pause it, I would pause this video. This little exercise today, take a sheet of paper, and it's a little project to do for yourself, and say, okay, I want you to create a list of foods that you love, that you like, and you're like, no thanks. So mostly we want to flesh out for you what foods would be good. And if you want, you can always email us through our website. I do have a list of foods and vegetables and stuff if you're just blanking out of variety of things you eat, because most of us only eat 5 basic things through a week and we just cycle them around. So if you want a list of foods that we can send you, email you, you can go through the website and email us at the website is www.thedoctorandyu.com. We're going to have that at the end of the last slide. We'll have it on there. So, but that's something you can contact us through the website, and we can send out a list of fruits and vegetables and things, and then maybe you need that to go through this exercise. But write down, flesh out what things you like. And obviously you want to eliminate, I want to talk about the healthy things you like, not the cupcakes and the chips and all those other things. So I clarify that. Unfortunately, we have to do that. You loophole people. So you want to identify the vegetables, the fruits, the quality meats, the complex carb. Complex carbs are like your carrots, things that are more than just sugar. So, and then you can, you can just, figure it out. So, for example, I don't know why I got apostrophe in tomatoes, but I don't really like tomatoes. Actually, that would kind of be down here, almost I like it on maybe in a sandwich or BLT. Yes, I eat bacon sometimes, but I do like mushrooms, I do like chicken, I do like lentils, I do like beans. Now my husband, on the other hand, he would be out down here, no thanks, absolutely not, would never ever eat beans. I have to have beanless chili if we're gonna have chili in our household. So, figure, just kind of create this list and kind of just give you some just a mental exercise of what do you like and what are you willing to experiment with? What do you actually love, and try to make sure that you're actually buying these things and eating these things. And what things will you experiment with? Okay. So some other things, because we know even if we're buying, say you're eating healthy, like you're that 3% that's doing everything right and eating everything right, we already know our foods at the grocery store are nutrient deficient. And even the medical doctors over American Medical Society over 10 years ago said everybody should be on a multivitamin because we don't have enough nutrients in our food anymore. So, and we're not getting enough. So supplements are, I do recommend a whole food supplement. I don't recommend just getting anything over the counter because over the counter supplements are not regulated and anybody can throw something in a bottle, it seems, and put it out there. So I do recommend a whole food supplement, either going to a health food store or Trader Joe's, somewhere that they really make sure that they're really good quality supplements. I do have several lines that only sell through physicians, that they want to make sure that the patient's getting a good quality product, so they only distribute through physicians and making sure the patient gets exactly what they need. So I have a couple of companies I work with. These are things I recommend on almost a daily basis for several patients. Fish oil, that is something, and I'm one of those people, I'm going to go on vacation here soon, and when I'm by the ocean, I'll eat fresh fish. I'll try to eat that almost every meal because it's fresh. I live in Chicago area. We don't get really good fresh fish, cold water, good fish here. So I tend to not eat it as much in our area. My husband is a fisherman and he does catch, some lake fish and stuff, and I will eat that. It's nice. But otherwise, I supplement my fish oil because I know I'm not going to eat it on a daily basis, or I'll do flaxseed oil. I kind of combo between the two because I like to get the plant-based omega-3s and the flesh-based omega-3s. I like CoQ10. That's good for the heart. It is an enzyme that helps the heart. Actually, all muscles need this for contraction and it's even our legs, but our heart, since it's beating a muscle that works all the time, it never stops because that's a heart attack if it stops. It needs more of that. So most people think about it, the heart, but actually the whole body needs that. So garlic, like I talked about before, some people don't like garlic, so you can get in a capsule form and that it will still have the same benefits. Hawthorn helps with some vasodilation of the vascular system. So some people, for whatever reason, they're tense. I've had people that's helped them not have to take blood pressure medication to take the Hawthorn. Bergamot is that's actually a citrus fruit. So I actually just learned about this in the last couple months. I heard of it before. I love Earl Grey tea, that's what I like to drink, and that's what it's flavored with. And I didn't realize it was actually a citrus fruit, so it was interesting. So anyway, that's been known to help. Now there's some good research saying it's known to help with cholesterol and fat handling. So this is another thing we are starting to offer in the office to help people with their cholesterol and other things. Now, first off, we want all the things I talked about before, modifying your diet, what you do with this and what you do with your booty, move. Those things are the best thing to do. These are things to help assist your body in that. And the last but not least, one of my favorites is berberine. So berberine helps with sugar handling. It helps pancreas and liver and processing of your sugars. I myself take this regularly. I have hypoglycemic tendencies, and since I've been taking this for the last 4 years, it's been helping me awesomely help my blood sugar regulate better. So it's wonderful. Also, the emotional part of the heart, love ourselves, the stress. Stress contributes to our life. So, you got to love yourself. And if you work, don't work out so you can love your body. Work out because you love your body. So, you got to move it. If you love it, you got to move it, okay? And you'll love it even more when it serves you better. So the emotional part too is stress is another thing feeding into this. So I could have people say their BMI is great, their fat percentage is good, and they are so stressed out, whether their job, whether family stress, whatever could contribute. That releases all those stress hormones that causes the vasoconstriction and that causes stress on the body. So we talk about then how can we support your stress. Is there ways we can eliminate? If there's lifestyle factors we can change? If not, how can we support you through that stress? Talking about, making sure you're getting adequate sleep, making sure maybe taking time to meditate and just calm that down. That's another thing of, or doing yoga, anything that you can do to just kind of help just reset that body and not be constantly in that fight or flight scenario. Also laughing, plan fun, plan some time with your friends. That's a big thing in my thing. I try to have people over for dinner. We used to do family game nights when the kids were younger, and there's so much laughing going on those nights. Just making sure to socialize or put on a comedy. We do that too. I was driving home on my last trip with my husband for our anniversary, and he was starting to fall asleep, and we put on some comedian, like a series of comedians through his Spotify, and we were just laughing. It made the trip go so fast, and on the way home, and it was just like we're laughing, and he was no longer falling asleep, so it was good because I didn't worry about that. But any way you can do that, put on some comedy. There's so much to free, if you're doing Netflix or YouTube, you can find so much stuff for that to just get you to laugh, and that just automatically actually exercise your diaphragm too, so it's pretty awesome. Slow the brain down. Remember, if you're caught up, and just take a second to stop and just work on just nice, slow, deep breathing, and just kind of just reset your brain with that, and just let it go. See if you can just go through and mentally just go through your whole body and try to relax every muscle. Try to take 3-5 minutes, a couple minutes just to do that. Okay, periodically. One of my last slides, we're just kind of circling back of, we're talking about a lot of things. I glossed over a lot of things. I do have other videos that go into more detail on some of these topics. SMART goals. So I talk about on my website, again, we're going to have it on a screen here. I have this download. You can download this, print it out. It is the hashtag, the health, your health, making goals for your health. So we know research says if you write it down, you're more likely for it to happen. If you write it down every day, they say even more so. And if you write it down and then have it where you can see it every day, it's going to help you actually start that momentum. So on this little sheet, it's like a half sheet of paper I created, and it has a 10 through 1. 10 is if you're so vibrant, you're healthy and vibrant, you're floating across the floor, nobody's really there. 1 is you're on your deathbed. So what I tell people is to take and circle on what number you think you are right now, and then draw an arrow up to higher where you want to be by the end of the year. And then pick at least 3 things, and then use this SMART goal formula to say, how to write it. The more specific you are, the better you are going to achieve it. So, last year I put down to eat more fruits and vegetables. I had try to hit that 5 to 7, and I haven't hit it every day, but I've been way more consistent. The other goal was to make sure I'm doing exercising 3 days a week consistently, and I was only doing about 1 to 2 days a week before that, and now I'm pretty consistent exercising 3 days a week. So it's amazing how I wrote it out, and I just put it on my desk. So I've updated it this year and just challenged myself even more. So it's just, the point is I'm helping us move in that right direction. So SMART goals are specific. Choose one thing on these lines, and see what you want to do. Can you measure it? So my saying, more detailed, like I said, 3 times a week. How many vegetables? If you even get more, I'm going to do it with breakfast and dinner. The more detailed you get to give your mind a target that will help you. Achievable. How difficulty? We got 9. That was supposed to be 1 out of 10. So 1 out of 10, 1 to 10 in difficulty. So if it's too difficult, you want to make it achievable, because otherwise you're going to put yourself in this negative spiral where you're not going to achieve it, and you're just going to get your self-confidence is just going to be lower. So you want, just put it a little bit of a reach, something that is achievable, that it's not, too difficult, and then once you build that momentum, you can add more and more to it. So relevance, is it realistic? Is it relative? It's like for me, it's saying, okay, instead of saying eat less dessert, you should be saying eat more vegetables, because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You want to be reasonable, so you need to not focus on decreasing. Like I just said before, you want to focus on the positive traits, focusing on the light, not the darkness. So you want to focus on what you want to improve, not what you want to decrease, because once you improve one thing, it automatically helps you decrease the other thing naturally. Time-based, like I just said, I was talking about I have this for the year. So I write this out. Usually I hand these out in January, sometimes mid summer I'll hand them out to give people okay, by the end of the year. So we have a time frame, either 12 months, 6 months, whatever. Put some time frame on that. You want to do the time frame. So more consistent you do this and look at it. And then if you tape it somewhere up in your closet, bedroom, mirror, or bathroom mirror, or behind somewhere where you're going to see it every day, that helps your subconscious go, yeah, that was important to me. So, and that uses our brain. There's a part of our brain that helps us focus on what's important to us or what helps us survive. And the example of that is I tell people, if somebody crashed through the room right now, my brain would be run that way. I got to get away from danger. And then picks those signals up right away. Or if I drive around, this happens once a year, I'll see a car I've never seen before, and I'll be like, wow, that's cool. And I've never seen something like that. And the next week I've seen 100 of those cars, because my brain goes, oh, that's important to you? I'll point them all out to you because you said it's important. So the same thing with this concept of writing your goals out and looking at them consistently. That'll help your subconscious push you towards those goals for yourself. So I'm finished up with this talk today. I hope it's really helpful. This is a very important topic. I want people to just live and thrive, and that's just my job and my being is to just try to encourage people to just grow in their health. And so I like to talk about before, the doctorandyou.com is our website. You can message us through the website if you want some more information. I am here in Johnsburg. I do have the YouTube channel we put all our videos up on, and I'm in the process of recreating a lot of videos to make them a little bit better quality. Our office number, and I am the author of A Journey to Vibrant Health, which is a nice quick read if you want more help with making some healthier choices. Thank you.